Hey guys, Wendell Saley for PNGBet.com. Welcome to round 20. But before we do that, let's go back and have a preview at round 19. Well, I said it last week. Round 19 was going to be difficult, and it was difficult to pick. I started off, I called it for Triple M, but I got it wrong. I thought the Parramatta Eels were going to win this game, but the Raiders, they were great. Their forward pack and their middle third were outstanding, through the middle and on the edges, but their outside five played well. Jordan Rapana, well played to you, young man, you and everything. He was an absolute beast. So the Eels, unfortunately, a bit of pressure on the Eels now too, because everyone's saying, look, the Eels are tightening up again, but the Raiders, they're in ninth position at the moment. They're still on the hunt for the top 8, and let me tell you, they've had a couple of wins now. I think they've had 3 wins. They're playing some great football. So the Raiders got home, 12-10. The Friday night game, this was a great game too, because the Roosters and the Knights, it was such a good game, but the Knights, they just rely on Kalen Ponga too much. Can I tell you, Kalen Ponga, he can't do everything. But the Roosters, they were depleted. A couple of injuries. Young Billy Smith, obviously he's out for a couple of weeks now, maybe a couple of months. But they got the job done. Roosters 28 defeated the Knights 8, and that man Teddy Tedesco, James Tedesco, world class. Well played to him. Special mention to Tupanua, edge back row, played some great football, and Joseph Manu, always classy Joseph Manu. And I've got to say, Friday night football, we started off with the 6 o'clock game. Just when you think the Storm are just going to keep rolling through teams, the Cowboys had them under the pump. At half-time, they had to reset, and in the second half, the winning culture gets you across the line. So well done to the Cowboys. They lost 20-16. Oh, I got to say, I'm a massive fan. Justin Olam, his football has gone to the next level. I know in the last couple of years, he used to run it straight, he was aggressive. I love the way the PNG boys play. I played against a lot of PNG boys. They're always aggressive, they're always tough, and you know you're going to be sore after a game. But the way he's evolved as a player, his skill set, he's looking after his wingers, whether it's Josh Adokar, whether it's whoever, he's dishing off that ball now. The first couple of games at the start of the year, he wasn't doing that, and I think they dropped a game to Parramatta Eels, and they also dropped one to Penrith at the start of the year. But he's learnt, and that's the culture of the Storm. Nico Hines is playing some great football, so well done to the Storm. They found a way to win. Well done to the Rabbitohs. I said it before. Wayne Bennett is sitting back like this. He knows this time of the season. He knows what's going to happen. He rested Latrell Mitchell the week after Origin, and what do you get? You get a 5-star fullback. Latrell Mitchell was outstanding last week. That pass, there was no way knowing that many players could have done that. The way that he just got around the players there and flicked that ball, magic. So the Rabbitohs on the back of Latrell Mitchell, Jaden Stewart scored a couple of tries. 60 points to 22, the Warriors, once again, found winning. And let's go, Saturday, the Seagulls versus the Tigers. The battle of the Tiger and the Bird. Well, you think the Tigers are probably a better fight. They're playing some good football, but now I think Manly, they're the real deal. Manly, the side for me in that bottom part of the top 8, they can cause you some problems. On the back of Tommy Turbo, Tommy's scoring tries, he's setting him up, and Ruben Garrick, he's kicking goals from everywhere. Well done to Ruben Garrick, playing some great football. So well done there. And that was 44 points to 24. And what about the Panthers? The Panthers, they didn't get that their own way. The Panthers up against the Broncos. The Broncos started to play like the Broncos should. The young players are starting to learn what it takes. So the Panthers now, they understand. They're hunted. They've got some injuries. Obviously, Luai and that coming back into the team. That was fine. But also, on the back of that, they got an injury out of last week's game. So Tyrone May, he's going to be out for a little while. But once again, the Panthers have got the depth. Well done to the Panthers. They won 18 points to 12. And my Dragons, they're lucky to be in the top 8. Just when I think the Dragons can probably do something, the Titans absolutely towed them up on the back of young Sexton kicking goals. And then you get a player like David Fafita. He's like that big kid you played against in under-8s or under-9s where as soon as he gets the ball and he's 20 out, you ain't stopping him. So well done to the Titans on a great win there. 32 points to 10. And young Sexton there on debut for the Titans. Well done. And to round it off, the Bulldogs versus the Sharks. Well, the Bulldogs, They just need the season to end. They're trying really hard. Jake Averillo scored a try. He's scoring tries. He's kicking goals. He's been the shining light for him this year. But once again, the Sharks on the back of Talakai. Talakai playing some great football. Sean Johnson's going to be gone for a couple of weeks now, for a little while. But they've got some talent there. Obviously, Matt Moylan in the reserves and that there. They'll be okay. So well done to the Sharks there. 44 points to 24. That rounds out round 19 for the NRL. Hi guys, Wendell Sale here for PNGBet.com. Well, I've got to say, I know COVID's been pretty crap for a lot of people, and it's been crap for business. But me being a Mackay boy, I'm very honoured that Mackay is hosting the Roosters versus the Eels. Mate, the Eels, we know they're a good side. They were unlucky last week. They nearly stole that win against the Raiders. The Roosters, they're so gallant this year. I don't think the Roosters can win the premiership, but they're playing great football. On the back of James Tedesco, he's been wonderful again. They've got some young players in and around that team that are doing a really good job. But for me, what's surprising is Adam Kieran moves to the centres this week because young Billy Smith's injured. Joseph Manu is on the wing. Joseph Manu, he is outstanding. He is a world-class player. You play him fullback, 5'8", centre, he'll do a job for you. Now he's playing on the wing. My mail is that the Warriors are offering him $1 million a year for 3 years from 2023. Well, that's good money if you can get it. But once again, last week, the Fords are outstanding. Young Tupanua, he was freakish on the edge. He was hitting holes. He was being really aggressive. Great footwork by the young man, so well done. But then I look at this Eels side. The Roosters are coming fifth. The Eels are coming fourth. So where I see this game going, they need to win this game, the Eels, because people are starting to lose confidence in them. They're saying, you know what? The Eels, they can make the top four, but you know what? They're not going to win the comp. They can't win the comp. No Mitchell Moses this week, so Jake Arthur, Dylan Brown's got to stand up and be better. When the game was on the line last week, Dylan Brown tried hard, but it was a little bit too late when he did, and he was very lucky. He scored the try. He was offside when that try was scored, which gave the Eels an opportunity. But once again, I look at their forward pack, outstanding. Junior Paulo, Ryan Madison's playing some good football, but Bryce Cartwright comes onto the bench. Tom Opacek comes back into the team, and that man there, Bryce Cartwright, has a bit of pressure in to play well. So where I see this game going, I see the Eels winning this game. I think there's too many injuries for the Sydney Roosters. They're going to be gallant, but if I'm a punter and if I'm you, I'm taking the Eels 1-12, and what that'll get you is $3.10. So get on the Eels 1-12. That's my bet for this week. Or you can take the Eels minus 4.5 for $1.90. But for me, I'm taking the Eels 1-12. Hey guys, Wendell Sale here for PNGBet.com. Friday night football. Who doesn't love Friday night football? You know what? When you've had a working week, what do you want to do? Watch footy, have a bet, and have a quiet beverage. It can be water, soft drink, can be beer. So this game here, West Tigers versus the Warriors. Both teams have been so erratic this year. Just when you think the West Tigers have turned the corner, they beat the Broncos, they get pumped last week by the Manly Seagulls. For me, I said it before, I'm a big fan of him, Dane Laurie. He's been so consistent this year, scoring tries, setting tries up. He's got a wonderful football brain. I look at their forward pack. Their forward pack's done a really good job. Young Jacob Little is a good young number 9, but their back row's got to be better. Leilua, Blore, they've got to do better because that's where the West Tigers play their best football, when they're so aggressive through their middle third and also through the edges. But I just don't know with this because it's one of those games where the Warriors, they're playing good football, but they just can't close it out. They're playing good football in patches, I should say, sorry. Reece Walsh at the back. The young man, the hardest thing about the NRL is playing good week in, week out. The last month, or since he got picked in Origin, he just hasn't got that form. So he's got to check himself, get back, and do what he does best. I look at their back row, and their back row is very solid. Katoa, Sirinen, Young, Curran, they're good players, but it all works around their halves. Peter Hiku there, he doesn't play a lot of 5'8". When I look at this game, the West Tigers, they're coming 12th. They've got a bit more to play for. I think the Warriors are gone. I don't think they can, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, it's unfortunate, but one of the greats of rugby league is going to rugby union. I wish RTS all the best. He's been a great player to watch. I've met the young man, and I wish him the best of luck in that other code. Oh, Rugby Union, that's right. I played it too because I was joining a national. Anyway, enough about me. So I think the West Tigers, I think they've got more to lose here. The West Tigers 1-12, $3.10, or West Tigers minus a 6.5. I think the West Tigers minus a 6.5 at $1.90. That's what I'd be betting. And the Tigers, they're ready to roar. The second game on Friday night, we have the mighty Broncos. Not so mighty anymore, but anyway, I'm loyal. I love my Broncos. And the Cowboys. Being a North Queensland boy, this is the local derby. To be honest, 13th versus 15th. I know there's not going to be a lot of people watching this, but the local derbies, no matter where they are, whether they're the Western Sydney or whether they're North Queensland versus the Broncos, this has always got a bit of spice to it. For a long time there, Broncos were like the big brother, and now the Cowboys flex their muscles over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, winning the premiership in 2015, which I've got to be honest, I was shattered as a Broncos legend. So anyway, the Broncos, they tried hard last week against Penrith Panthers. They lost by 6 points. And Cowboys did well against the Melbourne Storm, but close enough is not good enough. So Jake Granville did a really good job at fullback last week. He's playing against his old club, the club that he got to start at, the Broncos. And I'm looking at this team, and once again, Xavier Coates. I just don't understand the Broncos. I know Xavier Coates is going next year to the Melbourne Storm, so that's probably why they're not picking him, because you can't go from Origin 3 weeks ago to not being in their best 17 to being, 21 men. It's one of those things that doesn't read right. So Xavier Coates, wonderful young talent, but he's not getting a start. Keenan Palacia, he's a good young front rower. There's a lot of raps on this kid. Where I've seen this being won and lost, this can go anywhere. Suncorp Stadium, I'm going to go the Broncos, I think, here, because last week Kyle Felt played some really good football. He scored 100 tries. Welcome Kyle Felt to the 100-try club. It's great to have you in there with me. And I look at their forward pack with Taumalolo, the absolute weapon. He's playing some great football, and with him is Drinkwater. So if they're going to win, it's got to be on the back of those two players. But I look at it, the Brisbane Broncos paying $1.77. The Cowboys paying $2.05. Where I see this being won, you can go Broncos 1-12 or Broncos -2. I'm going to take the Broncos -2 because 2 points, local derby. This could go either way. I'm going the Broncos here. Come on, the mighty Broncos. Even though I'm a North Queensland boy, I'm going the Bronx. Oh, I'm looking forward to calling this game. Dragons, the mighty Red V is a part of me and will always be a part of me. You know that. So the Red V are up against the Rabbitohs. Oh, the Rabbitohs. The Rabbitohs are going along just nicely. They're playing some wonderful football. Wayne Bennett, mate, the wily old fox, the wily coach, he just sits back, gives his players a rest. He rotates them, and he rotated Latrell Mitchell after Origin. And you know what that gets you? That gets you a 5-star performance. So well done to Latrell Mitchell. The way that he played last week, if they're going to win the premiership, it's going to be on the back of someone like him, but also Jaden Stewart. Scored a couple of tries, wonderful edge player. He's going to the Dragons next year. So he signed a 3-year deal with the Dragons, and the Dragons, mate, they've made some changes as well. So well done to the Bunnies last week. Yeah, they got to 60 points. Their attack is their strength. Their defence, not so much. This Dragons side, I think they're in for a long afternoon. I'm calling this game. Good to see it's going to be in Rockhampton, Brown Park. I played a bit of junior football there for CQ and schoolboys. And I have a look at this. I've got to say this. Matt Duffy is off to the Bulldogs next year. I haven't got a problem with this. Tyrell Sloan, he's at fullback. This kid, I will say this. I've coached this kid in junior level. This kid will play for New South Wales, and I reckon, I know there's a lot of pressure on the kid, he'll be one of the best young Indigenous players the comp's seen for a long time. So Corey Norman moves into the centres, and it's Jaden Sullivan, the young 5'8". He's a very talented young 5'8". He'll move into the 5'8 position. But look, I just can't see the Dragons fitting it there. Oh, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this. The Dragons, 2-horse race, $9. South Sydney Rabbitohs, $1.07. Where I see this going, just get on the Bunnies. Get on the Bunnies 20 plus. I don't know what that'll pay. 20 plus, no, I'm joking. Get on the Bunnies minus 24.5 start for $1.90. I just think they got too many points in them. And unfortunately for the Dragons, they got some young kids there that this is going to be a different level. When you're playing against the likes of guys like Cody Walker, Adam Reynolds, who's kicking goals left, right and centre, Jaden Stewart, Jai Arrow, mate, you've virtually got like a representative forward pack there. You got a young back rower named Keenan Kolomatangi. He is an absolute weapon. He will play for New South Wales over the next couple of years. And I look at their bench, Liam Knight, Jacob Host, they're too good. I feel sorry for the Dragons here, but I think they're going to get lapped. And unfortunately for them, $9, that's a big price. But yeah, the Bunny's too good for me. Well, we have the Knights versus the Raiders. The Raiders. Just when I think the Raiders are gone, they get beaten by the Titans in Canberra, 5:30 on a Saturday. They get beaten by 40-odd points, 50-odd points. And then I think the Raiders are gone. I think put a line through them. And what do? They win 3 in a row. Mate, the Raiders are coming 9th. The Knights are coming 11th. I'm just disappointed with the Knights at the moment. They've got such a good forward pack. You know, on the back of Saifidi brothers, young Bailey's playing some really good football. The back row, Frizzell, Barnett, Watson. Connor Watson's a bit of an unsung hero of this team. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does. They started off well last week, but they just couldn't stick with him last week against the Roosters. But my problem for this side here is their back line. Their back line hasn't fired. Kalen Ponga, he can't do it on his own. He can't be Mr. Individual. He needs a team to go with him. The good thing is Bradman Best is back. So they need Bradman to be at his best. So they're up against a pretty good side here. Croker's there. Sebastian Chris is playing some good football. But Jordan Rapana for me, he's a wonderful player because he's a competitor. He just keeps competing. He just keeps turning up. And some of the plays that he did last week were unbelievable. He scored a try. He set up a try. And the big in for them, but is Jack Whiten. So I think with their forward pack, they're playing some good football. Elliot Whitehead's back. Elliot, very talented. He's the unsung hero of that team too. He's like the heart and soul of that team. He mightn't get enough. He mightn't get the big raps, but he's playing some really good football. So a wonderful bench there. Tom Starling, he has a different dimension there. As soon as he comes on, he plays some great football and works in well with Josh Hodgson. So Joseph Tarpany, playing some really good football at the moment. This is where I expect Joseph Tarpany to play and stand up. So I don't think the Knights can handle the power and the defence of the Raiders. So the Raiders are $1.60. The Knights are $2.35. Where I see this game being won is through their middle third. Canberra Raiders, either -3.5, but you know what? I like the Raiders that much. I'm going to go the Raiders, 1-12 for $3. That's my best bet of the week. This is why I love rugby league. This is the heavyweight title fight. This is like Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. This is when you're watching golf, you're watching Tiger play against someone like Jordan Spieth. But this is what I love. The Storm are playing the Panthers. And where I see this going, who knows? But you know what? I know that they're both on the same points, but the for and against is 110 points difference there. And the Storm have been great. They've averaged, I think, 30 to 40 points a game. Against the Cowboys last week, they didn't get their own way. The Panthers, they got home in a tight one against the Broncos. But this week, it's a different cat. It's a different beast. And this is what's going to happen this week. I just can't see the Storm getting beaten. Obviously, there's some injuries there. Nathan Cleary's still out. They've got a really good back line, the Panthers. We know that. They're young, they're fresh. You know, Crichton, Staines, Edwards. It's a good back line. I look at their forward pack. Kickow, Capewell. But I just don't think they can go with this team. So the Panthers, they've had some injuries. And I just don't think they can go with the Storm. Have a look at this. Cameron Munster. Imagine giving him a week off. Cameron Munster, he'll come back in. He'll flex his muscles. Dell Finucane, we know what sort of a player he is. But when you got Ryan Pappenhausen on the bench, Ryan Pappenhausen, he showed last week why he's so good. I know he dropped the ball early, but he hadn't played since Magic Round. This is going to be a wonderful round. And I'm looking at the prices here, and I'm thinking what you're thinking. You know what? Storm, $1.15. Penrith Panthers, $5.50. This should be unbelievable. If Panthers can pull off this win, not only will they be favourites to win the comp, but I'm telling you now, psychologically, they'll go, well, we beat the Melbourne Storm without our big guns. So they've got a couple of big guns out at the moment, especially Nathan Cleary. But I can't go past taking the Melbourne Storm there for 13 plus. I think 13 plus, they can run roughshod over the Panthers here. The Panthers will try hard, but the Panthers got too many injuries. So Craig Bellamy, mate, he'll have them up for this. And because they've been in lockdown or been in camp or whatever you want to call it, the COVID camp or whatever, I'm thinking here Melbourne Storm 13 plus, $1.60. This is a bit of a danger game too, because if they do aim up the Storm, the Panthers, this will give them confidence, and therefore they will hurdle the Melbourne Storm. But the Melbourne Storm don't lose games that they want to win. They know how important this is to their season, and Craig Bellamy coached team. This is what Craig Bellamy wants to keep coaching on, because this culture that he's created at the Melbourne Storm is unbelievable. Have a look at this for a forward pack. Bromwich, Smith, Welsh, Kafusi, Bromwich, Finucane. That's not only an international forward pack, that's an Origin forward pack. You're not stopping that forward pack. And as I said before, I look at their back line. Nico Hines has been outstanding. He was in the New South Wales squad. But Justin Olam, for me, Justin Olam has been one of the most consistent players in the NRL, not just as a centre, but as an all-round player. Defensively, when he hits, you stay hit. And I look at Cameron Munster, who's playing some wonderful football this year, and Jerome Hughes. Well, Jerome Hughes, he's an unsung hero of that team. So, the good thing for the Melbourne Storm is they got Harry Grant coming back into the squad at some stage, but he's named 19th man, but they won't need him this week. So the Storm, it's all the purple juggernaut. Well, the luxury for the Titans is, because there's a bubble, they get to play at home again. So Seabus Super Stadium is the Gold Coast Titans versus the Bulldogs. Well, you know what? We've been saying it all season. The Bulldogs are trying hard, but they just haven't got the cattle. They haven't got the firepower, and I don't think they can stop the Titans. The Titans have got so many good players here. AJ Brimson at the back has been unbelievable. Young Toby Sexton last week, what a wonderful debut for the young men. I've heard a lot of good things about him, and this is why they're getting rid of Ash Taylor, because Ash Taylor is costing them a lot of money, and they think Sexton's going to be their next big thing. So well done to that young man. Good to see his friends support him. It's a wonderful debut, but once again, Fafita, unstoppable. Big edge back rower with big Tino there. Once you got Tino going forward, laying that platform, David Fafita, he's like when you used to play against those big kids at under 8s or under 9s. You give him the ball and you just go, yep, go Dave, go. So Fafita scored, a wonderful try last week, sets up tries, but their bench is too good too. Tyrone Peachey's playing some really good football. I look at the Bulldogs. Well, Cole Flanagan gets opportunity again. Cole Flanagan, he's sort of been, I suppose, he's been the scapegoat. And it's unbelievable that people can say, oh, this Fano, it's his fault. Their forward pack keeps getting dominated. And unfortunately, they're going to get dominated again this round. I look at the price there. The Bulldogs, they're $4. So the punters, we give them a chance, but I just think the Titans have got too much at stake. The Titans are coming 10th. They're 2 points out of the top 8. They need to stay in touch. So I think they'll put them to the sword, and I think they'll put them to the sword easy. I'm going the Titans 13 plus at $1.90. Or you could take the Titans minus 12 and a half, which is similar sort of price at $1.90. So I'm going Titans 13 plus because I think their attacking power in the backs, obviously their skill set and their forward pack. Let's not forget about their forward pack. Even though that back row is tough, they got Jared Wallace, who's an Origin player. Mitch Rayner's a very talented player, but also Fortawaker. So as they say, Mo knows, and so does Dell. Dell knows, and Dell knows the Bulldogs are gone here, and the Titans, they'll run roughshod. Well, what a way to round off the Sunday match. Yes, and you wouldn't believe this, it's at Redcliffe. Redcliffe, what a wonderful ground. And this could be anything. This is where the best of the best play. Tommy Trbojevic up against the young star William Kennedy. It's like watching one of the greats of the game, or Tommy Turbo's going to be, and one of the new young stars of the game. William Kennedy, he's been outstanding this year. Obviously, there's been a few injuries for the Sharks. Connor Tracy moves to 5'8" from the centres. Trindle, who's had a pretty good season, or since he's come in, he needs to stand up here if they're going to win there. But Talakai, the edge back row, Toby Rudolph, they've been so good, the Sharks boys, and their forward pack. But I think their strength comes from Braden Ueli, comes off the bench, and Andrew Fafita. That's the two-prong attack. Bang, bang, twin turbo, or twin power. What they call them is bookends. So they'll do a job, but I just can't see them going going with the Seagulls. The Seagulls have got too much to lose. Obviously 7th versus 6th, but I think the Seagulls are 6 points ahead of that position, and I think they'll reinstate where they should be, and they're a competition heavyweight, the Seagulls, on the back of Tommy Turbo. Saab's playing some great football, but their young forward pack, they're doing a good job. Young Josh Schuster, I love the way that he plays. Their bench is great. Curtis Sirenen, it's good to see him back. Sipley and Dylan Walker is a good utility. I look at the price here, and you know what? I'm thinking the same thing. The Sharks are $5.50, Manly Seagulls $1.15. Where I'm seeing this game, I'm seeing Manly Seagulls 13 plus at $1.57, or do I go Manly Seagulls minus 17.5? Well, you know what? I think the Sharks can give it a bit of a go, but I just think Manly got too many points in them on the back of Tommy Turbo. Manly Seagulls 13 plus, they'll get $1.57, and that'll be a good price. But yeah, the Sharks, this would be an upset win if they get it. But for the people at Redcliffe, around that Morton area, they deserve this, and they deserve their own team there as well. So that's Big Dell's tips for round 20 for PNGBet.com. We'll see you same time, same place, next weekend.